What's up? It's me, Haley Jones, and today we are here with Brian Strong, who is the CEO of TenHats, which is an IT services organization, business. I mean,
sure.
Data. They keep data. They do everything IT, which we're going to get into. So a little teaser. Think about what TenHats might mean. Okay, before we get into business, let's talk rapid fire. The most pressing question of the day, Brian. Where were you on June 24th, 2024, when the baseball team won the national championship?
I was watching the game. Absolutely, I was watching the game, like anxious and all that stuff, especially, that last run that was scored on an accident. I mean, you could tell that they were excited and nervous and all that stuff.
Do you think the pitcher was like trying to play around, or do you think that was like accidental?
Oh, I think it was just nervous energy. I mean, like they're right there at it, and it was just, I mean, I was feeling for him, and you could tell, I mean, he knew he made the mistake. He was laughing and stuff like that, but I mean, it was,
I was like, this is not funny, man. This is not funny. And then Vitella was like, whatever he was doing, I was like, so was that just for fun? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is the national championship.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Okay, so obviously you went to UT.
I did. You're
obviously a Vols fan.
Absolutely.
Okay, favorite Vols player of all time?
Oh my goodness. I mean, Peyton,
Obviously.
Peyton, I mean, like, he was there, he was,
right.
So he's always around and he's always supporting the team. But there's so many of them, Todd Jr. still around, and he's just a good dude. I mean, there's so
we have a lot of cool legacy, like players, like cool people,
and so it's hard to pick. You can pick per sport. I mean, frankly,
that's true. Okay, so since we're talking IT, what do you think is the most overrated piece of IT equipment, like technology in general? Most overrated piece of technology?
Man, that's a tough question. I'm probably gonna break the trend and say ChatGPT.
No, I agree. Well, actually, I think it's like not. Well, anyways, you know what?
It does so many amazing things, but like it's gonna solve all the world's problems. It's a long ways to go before it does that, and it's just one component of AI. But they, everybody kind of puts it in.
Well, how come no one wants to date me? Enter.
Yeah.
Not helpful.
That's right. Yeah, and it still does lie to itself, and all those and the hallucinations and all that stuff. So I mean, there's, we've got to. I mean, is AI like the future?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
At the same time, we've still got a ways to go.
Yes. Is there a piece of technology that you wish was invented that we don't currently have?
So I think if I had like a device that would tell my wife when to answer the phone, like instead of like leaving it all over the
like this
the
call
house.
Really matters.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If I could maybe change the ringtone from like, I'm seriously you need to answer the phone.
Yes, that's funny. I hope my husband's not watching. Okay, touchpad like on a laptop or like a mouse. Which do you prefer?
I'm I don't really care. So I mean, so there's a generational thing too. Like the Xers typically are mouse people, and I'm an Xer, but the millennials and everybody below, I mean, they don't know the difference between the pad and the mouse. Yes. But if I had my choice, I guess I'll pick up a mouse for sure.
Same. What's the last like music CD that you bought?
That I bought. God.
Or that you listened to.
Oh, so yeah.
Either one's fine.
Yeah, so I mean, man, I'm a Sirius XM guy now. Man, I can't remember the last time I bought a piece of music. Isn't that crazy to think about?
That's weird to think about.
I mean, it would have to be
Mariah Carey. Okay.
You with Mariah Carey?
Actually, I think it was Ace of Base.
Man.
Like I Saw the Sign.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, mine was like, what is that? What's the?
Or actually, you know what? NSYNC. It was probably NSYNC. Let's just say like what it was.
Yeah, maybe the Cranberries.
Oh, there you go. Okay, how old were you when you got your first cell phone?
I was 15, and Well, it was the family one, so I had the 30-minute plan on it.
Yeah.
And so you only got the cell phone when you went someplace, and you only called in emergencies. And I mean, it was before
that was that technology you talked about.
That's exactly right. It was, and it was, it was, it was a big deal to even have one.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Which social media platform do you currently use the most?
LinkedIn, and then probably Instagram right behind Facebook. I'm not a big social media guy, really, frankly.
Yeah.
I did like a lot of it in the past, and then I got tired of it.
Yeah, I think it's become old, but like it's the same old thing is what I mean when I say that. It's like, let's be more creative.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, let's take a hard right turn. Let's talk about TenHats, IT, all the things.
Okay.
So if someone, what is TenHats?
So TenHats is a IT firm. Basically, we provide IT services from, a business that wants to consult or they need help desk services. So TenHats is really kind of emblematic of like all the functions of IT.
All the hats that IT could wear.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And so we have specialists in multiple different disciplines of IT, and we can help facilitate that for companies. So if you're a small company and one person is wearing multiple hats, usually it's the accountant or the CFO, so we can take the IT hat from that person and carry that burden. Or if it's a large company, what'll happen is they have proficiencies in, let's say, 6 of the areas of IT, and they need to outsource 4 of those where we have expertise in, and then we'll partner with companies that way.
Okay. So kind of like from small to big, depending on whether they're outsourcing IT services to you guys or you're kind of helping the process along. Yeah,
we've got customers that have 12 employees up to some that have several thousand.
Wow. So when does a business need IT? And I know that's a very broad question, but like if you're just getting started, like how would you know, yes, I need this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So typically somebody that's, starting to hit the 10 employee, everybody actually needs it, frankly.
Yeah.
But there are some smaller companies here in town that really specialize in those, kind of micro businesses.
Right.
We typically start getting engaged with somebody that has like 15 to 20 employees and stuff like that. But if, one thing we talk about today and why IT is so important is that we really all are technology companies that happen to do something else. I mean, even in your business in real estate,
yes.
I mean, so how much, if you took away your technology, could you function?
No.
Right. So,
I couldn't even get to a house to show. Okay.
Right. That's exactly right.
Like I couldn't even, I could, but you know what I'm saying.
I mean, we're not going to go get atlases anymore, right? I mean, it's like that day is over, right?
Turn next to the pink house.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, so those days are gone. And so it's like technology and how we use technology is really the centerpiece of how we function as businesses. And then we happen to do whatever that function is.
And so it's kind of like, correct me if I'm wrong, but TenHats is helping people to be more efficient in what they do, have better business outcomes overall, right? That's kind of the goal.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of say, to help them thrive, compete, and, achieve. So it's just...
thrive, compete, achieve. I like that. What's like a minimum IT, like what's most important? Cybersecurity, like data storage, like hardware, software, like what's the bare minimum when it comes to a strong IT situation, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is like having, really good communication platforms like an Office 365, and then you can layer on security on those different things pretty easily. Then, it's also cloud storage and all that kind of stuff. So they're all kind of encapsulated in those different ones.
So how does the company deal with this is speaking from experience. I used to be a teacher.
Oh, yeah.
And every year we had a new technology. Mm-hmm. And every year it was heinous to adopt. And by the time someone adopted it, it's no longer what we needed to use. Yeah. So when it comes to IT, when is it like a shiny object versus you have to have this? How do you assess technology and whether or not it's something that's needed? Because I feel like it's always constantly different.
Once again, you're asking some really good questions. So IT in the past was typically run by an engineer.
Yeah.
Right. And so engineers are really good at fixing problems, and they find solutions to problems, but they don't typically aren't business people, and they look at the whole holistic of what's going on.
Right.
And so now that IT has really moved into really a core function of a business, the decisions of core softwares and implementations typically need to come down from the business side of it, of like, here, this is what we're trying to do as an organization,
right,
and here's all the facets that we need to actually execute this. And as a business, what that'll do is consolidate what the actual need is, versus sometimes technologists goes, oh, you got a problem, here, I've got a solution, instead of somebody looking at the holistic view of what the business is.
Yeah.
And that's what we help a lot of our clients with is, really, what does the business need,
mm-hmm.
And what does the business do? And let's match it to the right technology with the fewest amount of technologies, because you can get, it's like you were just saying,
mm-hmm.
I mean, you can get sprawl of like all these different applications that you're using, and then you get paralyzed on what to do.
Right.
And so how do we bring that into some kind of goal and vision to drive the business forward?
So it sounds like making decisions based off like company, organization, vision.
That's right.
Not necessarily like fixing a problem.
That's correct, 100%.
Okay. Because it seems like if you're doing it from like a fixing a problem situation, like you're not thinking about like, well, is that actually the direction we want to go?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yep.
So then how do you stay nimble also as like within an IT department, within an organization, because there is such changing technology? So like, are you more software heavy? Are you more hardware heavy? Are you like people loose? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
What does that look like?
So for us, we're typically on the hardware side more often, but we do get into helping people, distribute the applications, or and connecting all their different sides. And once again, it kind of goes back to what's the core function of the business,
mm-hmm.
and then actually knowing, hey, what's the plans for the business over the next 3, 5, 10 years, right? And then we can actually build in, okay, here's over the horizon, we think these things are going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And so if we have that kind of plan in place, then we actually make decisions based on, okay, look, we need flexibility in this area that we're not quite sure, it's like a new market for us and we're not quite sure, but some of these software packages that we have or technologies that we have will give us the flexibility to move into those different things. And so that's kind of the, a little bit of a, kind of be a break fix, can be a knee-jerk reaction. And also too, I mean, sometimes you just make a bad choice,
Yeah.
You make a choice based on based on the information of today.
Right.
And your business adapts. That's just ever evolving of different businesses.
Do you think that there is such a thing as like a technology that is like the silver bullet, the fix-all? Just because like I feel like from an education background standpoint, there was always like, if we get this learning management system, it's going to change the face of what we do with kids or whatever.
Right.
So like, is that a thing?
No, I mean, like the old saying, if like you aim at nothing, you hit it every time, right? So it's like, if there's a goal, what we find too is like people putting in different things. It's like, yeah, this will fix it, but what was the measurement, before? Like, do we know what the problem is? Have we measured it?
Yeah.
And if we implement this, how are we going to measure that it was actually successful?
Right.
And then, what are the outcomes? And I think, sometimes even as humans, right, a lot of times our opinions are right because they're our opinions. And we talk from a perspective like, this would fix my problem. Yeah. But it doesn't fix you and I are different, right?
Yes.
I mean, we may learn different,
right.
We both have different backgrounds. We both live in Knoxville,
right?
But how you grew up and how I grew up will affect on the experience that we have and how we learn and teach and all that stuff. And so I think having holistic views of those kind of different things will, knowing what you're trying to achieve. Are there different things that'll make us a lot better? I think AI will help us bridge technology gaps over time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is that like a bad word? Is it going to replace all the people? Like, what's the AI horizon?
Yeah, so there's a professor at University Tennessee, Victor Hazelwood, and he's like kind of over machine learning, high performance computing, and he gave me this example. It's like he built this big algorithm to identify flowers. He likes flowers and all this other stuff. The amount of data that it takes for AI models to learn, I think, is very unappreciated. Yeah. So will AI help us fix? Yes, but I think it's a little further out than the doom.
Yeah, like doom and gloom. No one's gonna have a job.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And of course, like the Industrial Revolution, they said, machines are gonna replace everybody, and everybody had jobs, and I think we'll adapt to that and figure out what they do. I mean, so some of the things that are done today won't be done tomorrow, but that's necessarily a bad thing.
Right. Do you think that how can I say this? There is some concern among certain groups that AI is unsafe, like all your security is gone, Big Brother's watching you. Blech.
Right.
What are your thoughts, comments, words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. I mean, I don't think their concerns are unjustified. I mean, I definitely think that there can be a lot of malicious intent with use of AI and how hackers. I mean, that's just a perfect example. They have a skill set of getting into people's networks, of phishing and all this other stuff. AI is going to do the exact same thing, and I think there's going to be, it's one of those where the AI of impersonation and all that kind of different things. I mean, that's happening now. It will happen. And we'll have to adapt our lives to that. And I think a big thing I always talk about is people talk about multi-factor authentication. What that means is if you get an email,
it makes me want to throw my computer through the wall, which I know it's for safety.
It does. I mean, I agree. I mean, it's inconvenient for sure. And so,
especially when you have multiple people. Like I have a VA here, I have a VA there. I need this VA to do this. I'm not on my Google or whatever. Yeah. I'm ranting a little bit, but I'm just saying.
No, I mean, I'm ranting there with you. It's people 30 years ago, they would lock their handles on their doors at their house.
Right.
And then they added deadbolts. Then they added an alarm system. Then they added a camera system. And then it was like, it kept evolving and evolving.
Yes.
And then when we got home and we pushed all the buttons to turn off our alarm, we didn't think anything of it. Yes. So I think MFA is going to get to that point where it's the technology partners will get better. And I mean, I think Microsoft has way too much money invested in technology. Yeah. That the security of all these different things, they're Microsoft and the big ones, it's affecting their business, and these are some of the richest companies in the world. So they are going to figure out better ways for security and to do those things. But go back to the MFA thing. It's MFA everything, not just on your computer. So if you get somebody calling you, and they, it sounds like they're asking for money, but it's somebody I'm like, Haley, this is Brian. I'm in a Colombian jail. Can you send me money? Right? It's.
Why are you in Colombia? No.
Right, exactly right. I don't know. Hopefully on vacation.
I don't know how I got here.
I don't know, but if it's somebody in person, and you're kind of like, well, he needs money. He's in Colombia. Of course, he needs to wire it. So it's hang up and call the cell phone back, and I'm like, hey Haley, how's it going? And you're like, it's an impersonation. But everything in life needs to be more MFA. Just checking.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So just call anything. I mean, validate, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's like this weird love-hate, because in a lot of ways, obviously technology makes things easier.
That's right.
But then also with that, as a result, you get the need for multi-factor authentication and all this stuff.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, okay, when it comes to user experience, if you're either B2B or direct to consumer, and you're trying to pick technology that makes sense for whoever the client is, what are your suggestions? And I'm obviously a one-woman small business.
That's right.
So for me, user experience is everything, but it's hard. So, making sure that it's actually a pleasant experience for people. They can easily access me. They can easily access what they need or whatever. So when you do that at scale as a larger corporation, like what are your kind of like suggestions on how to evaluate technologies that you choose on the like consumption side?
Yeah. So so one of those things too, how does the business function, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot on user experience from the standpoint is what are they familiar with? Mm-hmm. And then try to adapt small changes to their environment so it doesn't, it's not, it doesn't happen all at one time. But how do you adapt that and teach them to grow in these different areas? Because there are new things that happen, but if it's subtle and over time, it seems to adopt faster. And then, also explaining why. There are hurdles like multi-factor authentication. You have a new app on your phone, you have to, push, these numbers and all these, whatever it is. And so is it, a pain? Yes, it is. But at the same time, after you explain to someone that, hey, it has to be this way, and here's all the reasons why. They typically begrudgingly do it, and we get, it becomes a new norm.
Yeah.
And then there's also too, from like software side standpoint, like I've had a startup and we did software as a service, and I always talk about this. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite jokes. So that's why I have to tell you.
Everyone lean in.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So why is UI, user interface, like a joke?
I don't know.
If you have to explain it, it's bad.
Oh my God. That's a good one, Brian.
Thank you. I know. Lots of chuckles all over the world.
Oh my gosh.
That's right.
Yeah, I just feel like that's such a huge thing. And like, especially, and is this true? The smaller the business, I don't know. I feel like sometimes smaller businesses, you need an even better user experience because it's so competitive.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm an agent by day, real estate agent. And I feel like if someone calls me and I drop the ball, whether it's my technology or someone else is quicker to them or whatever, I've lost the person. That lead is gone. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, I just think it's but if you have a bad user experience, you're screwed anyways. So
Right. And so, I think simplification, right?
Yeah.
Use as few as applications that you can. I know there's, like you're talking this shiny object. Well, somebody goes, well, this tool will help this, and this tool will help this. If you can narrow it down and just use a few tools really, really well, you usually can get much further than you can by using so many tools. Or you're just sitting there using tools all the time. I mean, just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, well, from personal experience, my VA is why do you have all this?
Yeah.
I have 3 different AI editors that I use, and they all suck. And then I end up still editing it.
Yes, that's right. That's why AI is
what are we doing?
Yeah, AI is the future, but it's the future.
Yeah,
it's in the future.
It's
there's a lot of good use cases now.
When it comes to being prepared as an IT person within the industry, so I was reading your 2024 report, and something I thought was really interesting was this push for AI people, professionals, employees that have business org skills, that have entrepreneurial skills versus they know how to do whatever, Excel or whatever skill that there is.
Yes, that's right.
So what does that look like? How do you prepare for that when you're wanting to be in an IT field? And then if you're hiring, what would that look like? Somebody with, strong business org skills or entrepreneur skills, how do you know that?
So there's what we call them, kind of internally, is we got hard skills and soft skills, right?
Yeah.
And so in the report, I'm glad you picked that up, is that business leaders are looking for more people right now that can interpret the vision and be able to communicate to the hard skilled people that are really technical, right? Yeah. Because you still need all of those folks, but those translators in between are is where we have a gap. So what you'll see is in the report that business leaders will say their IT people need more training, and then the technical people say they'll need more training, right? Yeah. However, what the business leaders are saying is more training in how the business operates. Right. And then the IT people are saying, I need more technical skills. So they're actually saying the same words, but they're saying 2 different things. Yeah. And so, in the report, what we're finding is that there is a gap for those people that with these skill set of that business,
right,
and operations and all those stuff to learn the technology, like how to communicate with technology to help push these initiatives forward, because that technology can drive the company,
right,
and you still need these hard skilled people to actually put fingers on the keys
make it
happen.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Implement it all, make sure it's all backed up and safe and you're secure and all those kind of different things. But the gap is between business leaders knowing business, because most of them are like, I don't even know what the IT person does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which that's another thing in there I thought was interesting, is like, it was like, do the IT people think they make an impact on the business? And actually the IT people thought they made less of an impact on the business than actually the people in the business, which I thought was insane.
Yeah, because it's largely aspirational, right?
Yeah,
so
okay,
what they'll say is like, is our technology leading? They're like, well, yeah, our technology's leading. But if you actually dig into it, they're like, well, I mean, it keeps the lights on, and it doesn't.
If I need my password changed, it works.
That's exactly right. And so it's like, I want my technology to help drive the company,
right?
But it's not quite there yet. There's somehow these aren't connecting, and that's that piece that's kind of in the middle of. It's kind of like us too. I mean, most of the technology firms here in town are run by really good technical people that started a business where, myself and the CTO, we both, Aaron Cheryl, but we both have business backgrounds. He's got an MBA. I mean, we have a lot of business folks that understand technology and how to leverage technology to drive business.
Yeah. Well, and I think that what's sometimes weird about IT and scary is like, if you're so business focused and like what the business is doing, you're not like, well, where would technology even fit here?
Right.
And that to me is a huge blind spot. Even just for myself, I think is a huge blind spot. So just imagining, like, if you've got this great business idea, or even if you're a successful business, but you've got like this technology gap.
That's right.
That could, push you.
Because a lot of times, a lot of times, I was reading this article too, just the other day, and it's like, so somebody will go, hey, we have this problem, can technology fix it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's actually a business process issue.
Yeah.
And so how they function as a company is the misalignment, not, and so there's not a technology that can fix that. So it's like, it was actually on AI, and the whole article was like, you think AI is going to fix all this stuff? It's like, no. If you would just fix your processes, right? When AI is here, you will be able to use it. Right. Yeah. But until you fix all this stuff,
it's like a fundamental problem.
That's right.
Not like, if we just add this tech, it's gonna.
That's right.
Like, it may make you faster at doing that problem.
That's exactly right.
But not fix like the issue.
That's exactly right.
And just for context, so this study, I call it a study, it's a survey, was over 1,000 participants from your businesses, and these are $1 million to $500 million plus revenue generating companies. So I think it's interesting if you just want something to read. It's a really cool report, but I just point that out because it was a broad group of people, and so I think it's kind of interesting to see like kind of what people are thinking future-wise. What are leaders thinking? What's IT thinking? So like when you think about that report, for somebody that's not going to read it, like what are some of the key takeaways that like generally from a business perspective people should know?
So you nailed a couple of them. I think the big one is AI is, aspirational too. It's like we need to implement AI, and it's usually like they're using ChatGPT, and it's, they're writing it, they're helping write job descriptions, which is a fantastic.
Or house listing descriptions.
Right. That's right.
Which now you can see who's using it and who didn't even edit it. Because it's the same words. I'm like, let's find.
Yeah, you can spot it.
Yes.
But there's good functions of like writing job descriptions. It's a really good way to like
stepping point.
Get ahead of the curve, and but it's like one of those where they say they're in AI, but we're really not AI, and so that was a big takeaway from it. Also, the biggest one was like that gap between what leadership really wants, and what IT really sees themselves as. And just that potential gap. And I think that's, you call it, I've been calling it a gap, but it's also an opportunity too. And that's what we're trying to bring to light in all this information is like, if we know the cause and there's a, vocabulary dictionary, difference, right? So we're saying the same words, but they mean two different things. Then if we can bridge that gap and find that out, then we can, move forward as an of those organizations.
Right. So getting a common language, common language with same definition.
That's exactly right. That's I learned that from the CIO Covenant at Michael Ward. That's his famous line. The vocabulary dictionary.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, as a former geometry teacher, I've got to think about vocabulary.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So when it comes to TenHats, if there's a business out there, who is who needs to call TenHats? Who needs you? Who can you help? Who do they call? Where do they go?
Yeah, if you have, more than 15 employees, and you're using computers and, you want to, use technology to drive your business, give us a call. We have, that's kind of our bread and butter, or larger. Like I said, if you're looking to drive your business with technology, that's kind of our forte. Has always been very large organizations. But there's a lot of really good small business here in town that that make up a big portfolio of our company.
And if somebody's we don't know if we need that, we are that size, do they call you and see if it's a fit? What?
And so they can call us. We'll meet with them, and then if we aren't a fit, we have lots of partners that we trust here in town. We'll get them into the right, because we don't ever want to get to a relationship where we think it's going to be, we can't serve them.
Not worthwhile.
No, it's not. And then there's a lot of good businesses out there that serve those niches, and we like to see those. If we all, rising tides raise all boats. So
thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I have not asked you that you're like, Haley, you didn't ask me this, or I need to say this?
Well, I was, the quick hit and quit it was you didn't ask me about my dog, and then you didn't ask me if I like chocolate or vanilla. I was waiting for that.
Okay, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
What about your dog?
We have a Brussels Griffon.
Oh, wait, isn't that
As Good as It Gets?
Oh, I was going to say, isn't that what Obama has, or didn't he have some?
I don't know.
Is that what he has?
I don't know if that's what he had. But you remember in the movie As Good as It Gets, Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, well, I'm bad at this game. I've seen The Lion King, okay? If my husband would be here, he'd be like, just stop asking.
Well, yeah. No. So, it's a...
But I'm going to go check it. I'm going to go see.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like an Ewok.
Oh, those are
Ewok.
cute.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Wait, what's his name?
Roxy.
Aww.
Yeah.
Okay, and you play soccer.
I do play soccer, yes.
Okay, are you the goalie? What?
No, I'm not a. Yeah, that's it. Only if we want the other team to score easily. So, but so I play adult league soccer, and usually midfield, and I played in the tournament this weekend. It's my vice. I love it.
That's not a vice. Come on now.
I'm playing tonight and played last night.
No big deal. Wait, where do you play?
Tonight we play at the Sampson Field, the Emerald Field.
Okay, so is this a Knox Rec League basically, or is it okay?
Yeah,
that's cool. I've thought about dabbling in that, but then I'm like, they're gonna be like, just get off the team. You sit over there and cheer.
No, it's there's leagues for all types of skill sets, or people are getting back into it, or super competitive.
Cool. I'm trying to think if there's any other rapid fire. I wanted to change it up because I feel like some people are like, Haley, this is the same thing every time. But, okay, last one, coffee or tea?
I was thinking about this one. I really like tea in the afternoons in the wintertime. And like an orange spiced tea with some honey.
Yes.
But coffee every morning. Me and my wife have coffee every morning around 6 o'clock.
Is this you're brewing it, or is it like a Keurig?
Oh, no, we brew it. Yeah, we have she's got some fancy coffee pot that, I don't know. I just drink it.
She takes care of it.
Yes, that's exactly right. But it's our ritual. That's our favorite time of the morning.
That's cool.
We sit there and drink our coffee and talk and
that's awesome.
Watch TV.
Cool. I've got a Keurig in a local coffee shop. I bought some coffee there, and she was like, well, we only have whole bean. And I was like, well, can you grind it or something? And she's like, well, what kind of coffee maker do you have? And I go, a Keurig? And she was like, ugh, sure, I will grind that for you. It was.
You're like.
I was like, oh god, okay, I'll go to Walmart next time.
Yeah, that's right.
I was trying to save time. Anyways.
That's funny.
Anyways, okay, so if people want to engage with TenHats, where should they go? Who should they call? What should they do?
TenHats, tenhats.com, Some
10
people,
literal.
yeah,
Yeah, not TN.
That's-
TE, like the number.
That's right.
Spelled.
TEN, HATS.com.
Yeah.
And I don't know the phone number, actually. I never called myself.
That's fine. Listen, go to the website.
That's right. And my email address is brian.strong@tenhats.com. Brian with an I.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. This was fun.
Good. I hope it's fun.
I know.
I mean, I've got all these questions, but for the sake of these people listening, I'll stop. Okay.
This is great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys. Bye.